Citizens Committee for Children of New York is a 71-year-old child advocacy organization here in New York City. And for the last 20 years, we've created a large municipal database on child well-being. And we produce every 2 years, keeping track of New York City's children. It's a data book designed to complement an online resource and tell a story about what life is like for New York City's children, citywide, in each of the 5 boroughs and across the 59 community districts. So New York City is unique in that it has a population of nearly 2 million children, the largest population of children in any city in the country. We know that among those children, 30% live in poverty. And when you look at race and ethnic groups, we have Black and Latino children that are far poorer, with Latino children almost 40% living in poverty, and African American children well over 30%. And what's most troubling is when we look down to lower geographic levels, we see children in northern Manhattan, north central Brooklyn, and the South Bronx living in poverty, 50% of communities with children living in poverty, which is really challenging. So I think on a positive level, when we look over 20 years of data, we've seen progress in many areas. Infant mortality has dramatically declined in New York City. Graduation rates are up for all race and ethnic groups. We've also seen income beginning to rise as we've come out of the recession, lower rates of children in foster care, so the smallest population of foster care in over 40 years in New York City. So there are some incredibly positive trends. What's troubling is when we look at racial ethnic disparity, we see that Black and Latino children lag far behind white and Asian peers. So we see far greater rates of high school dropout for Latino children, for example. We see, as I said, very high rates of child poverty for Black and Latino children. When we look at family homelessness, we also see that even though African American families represent only a quarter of the entire population of families in New York City, they represent over 58% of families in homeless shelter. So there are profound racial and ethnic disparities that we hope the data will illustrate as really a jumping off point for conversation with government about how to fill those gaps and address those needs. So we have 3 top priorities right now. One is to make sure that we have a very robust, high-quality system of infant-toddler child care. We hope for a universal system that's reaching across the income, different income groups, but our first priority is reaching the poorest children in New York City. The second very large priority is to make sure that we leverage the school meals program. We have a population of children in New York City where over 70% of the entire school population should be eating breakfast, lunch, and an afternoon snack in schools, and we have only a 45% take-up rate. So we have the opportunity really to make sure that children are not hungry and that they're engaged in school and learning and eating well. And then the third priority is really kind of an aspirational priority to begin to make sure that every child is career and college bound, and we'd like to see the establishment of a child savings account in New York City for every child enrolling in either universal pre-kindergarten or kindergarten. So from the earliest age, every child entering school knows that the expectation is college and career, and that we begin to discuss with family and children very early on saving for that possibility.